Frame lead for the first time at 10-8.
And a very different John Higgins from the one who stormed out angry with himself at the mid-session interval the day before. Let's move on into frame 19. It's Mark Williams to play. No score yet.
Yes, and I think this is an opportunity now that he's got to make count. Having had the disappointment of the first frame this morning. And he certainly had a chance to make a sizable contribution. And I always say, I don't care who you are, if you can start off early on in a match with a big break, it just settles you. Also,
16.
Gets your concentration at maximum. Well, looking at the body language of
23.
Mark then, it looks as though he's come too straight on this red. Trying to force it in and give himself
Mark Williams, 23.
A little clap there, more in annoyance. He's getting a little bit frustrated. As I say, it was very straight, trying to squeeze it in, but at pace, the pocket won't take it.
Yes, he had to play the aggressive shot there to bring that red into play next to the black, and you'd have to say he's a little bit unlucky to finish straight on that. The pace he played it. But maybe it's not cost him anything. Can he see the red? The one to the right of the blue will definitely pot in the corner, but that's a tough pot. Because if he misses it, he knows he's going to leave one on. Oh, this is a toughie. Yes, it was always going to be very tight. And that next kiss could have gone against him, but nothing easy for John Higgins. Excellent pot with the long rest. Didn't have too much idea what was happening to the cue ball, but managed to cannon the blue and left him a nice chance on the pink. And that 22-point lead will disappear rapidly if this pink disappears. Well, this has got to be half a chance to go 3 clear.
7. Eight. $15. 16. 23.
Well, nice control of the cue ball. He's got a choice of reds. He's got one in the left centre. Well, this one. One in the left centre could be the next red to
24.
play for. And the two reds on either side of the table, so he doesn't have to be opening clusters and things.
$31.
8 points in front now. Still need to disturb something to win the frame at this visit.
$32.
And I would suggest that John Higgins' confidence is growing every shot, every minute of this match.
38.
Well, he
39.
tried to nudge something out, but I don't think he's quite done it. He's still, as I say, still got the two reds on either side of the table to play for.
$46. 47.
So is he going to go into this cluster of four? No. Well, he obviously didn't.
53.
He's played for the one loose red. 30 points in front. He's still looking for red cover, red colour. So he needs a good angle on this pink here.
$54.
And that's not it. Now, unless there's a plant, I don't think there's a red is potable by just rolling the pink in.
If there's not a plant, John, I have to agree with you. The angle he had on the previous pink was just so nice to go into them and couldn't fail to push one towards the corner. I'm just wondering whether they're a plant into the middle pocket. No, they're not. Where's he found a plant into this pocket?
Well, I don't think so. He didn't want to
60.
take the risk early on and, well, in the end, put all his eggs in one basket. And because he didn't get an angle on the pink, that last chance, this frame's still on. 37
Higgins,
points in
60.
front. But, well, as we see so many times, just one mistake and... Well, for Mark Williams to win it with a 38 break, it wouldn't be asking too much. Well, I'm a little bit surprised at that. I thought he may have played a telling safety shot, going for the double. Just seems to have lost his cool a little bit to me, Willie.
Yeah, I think a little bit of frustration, John, has crept in there. He knows he's had chances in all three of these morning frames, the two that have already elapsed and the one that we're halfway through, and perhaps feels that he just needs to push the boat out a little bit, but you can't leave Higgins any sort of plot at the minute. He seems to be doing a lot better.
1.
And he'll be trying to get a snooker in behind blue or yellow here, I would suggest, and put a colour
Green
safe as well. There goes the colour safe. There goes a cue ball in behind the yellow.
John Higgins.
Brilliant.
1. Foul. And a miss. Free ball. John Higgins 4.
Well, a missed call. I see no reason why John Higgins won't have it replaced.
Back.
So, got a 42-point lead now. If he's calling a miss now, you would suggest that Mark Williams has got to hit this red, otherwise he could give I don't know how many points away, and he's not hit them that time.
Foul. Miss. John Higgins, 4.
Well, 46 points the difference, and I think he must make sure he hits them now, because if he goes 50 behind, quite clearly he would need 3 reds and 3 blacks to win by 1. It's not a difficult target, John, is it? Big target, really, those 3 reds, and he won't leave one on unless he hits it too hard. That's gone narrow again. So that'll be a miss again, and next time if he misses it, he'll need a snooker.
Miss. John Higgins, 4.
He's now 50 behind. So he must hit them this time, otherwise it's snookers required.
Yes, it's not really the ideal way to finish a frame of snooker, but it could easily happen.
Foul.
And that's it. 6 away, he
Higgins, 6 and a
concedes.
frame.
Well, a sad end to a frame that I felt Mark Williams badly needed. But John Higgins carries on. He now leads 11 frames to 8.
Well, Mark Williams has won only 3 of their previous 13 meetings, and now he's got his work cut out to prevent this being a decisive break by John Higgins. Let's head on into frame 20 then. Early on, nothing potted yet, and it's John Higgins at the table.
Ramble. Five. Six.
Well, that was a clever little shot that John Higgins played to get the gap between these 2 reds for the pink in the middle. And the way the reds are spread, one would have to suggest this is the kind
12.
of chance you would expect John Higgins to win at this visit. There's been no massive breaks by John Higgins in this run of 6 frames. His highest break has been 74.
13.
He's only made 3 breaks actually over 60 in winning this 6 frames. The rest have been just 30s. I think we might get a big one here.
Eighteen. Nineteen.
This is one of those positions where there's really nothing to do with the cue ball. He'll get on the black here in such a way that I'm sure he'll
24.
move the red out below the black. And then he'll have black available into both pockets. This is key moments in this match. I think a 4-frame lead for most players could prove too much, but we all know how Mark Williams can
25.
reel 3 or 4 frames off in the space of 15 minutes. but to win all 4 in a session is very, very good snooker. And there's that red away now, and doesn't have anything to do now with the cue ball. Just a series of little stuns and screws. Should
32.
get past the 70-point mark very quickly.
33.
Yes, when he led 8-5 and John Higgins out of touch, you felt maybe at the end of that session, 8 apiece, he'd missed his opportunity. And
40.
it's certainly proving that way now, because you'd be very surprised if John Higgins didn't make it the first
41.
4 frames of this morning's session and lead 12-8. So Mark Williams now he's in a little crisis situation, and he'll just have to go back to his dressing room
48.
and get some positive thoughts. Not a good positional shot from John Higgins. Needs to recover here.
49.
Has done quite easily. And now back in perfect position, and with a 54-point lead.
54.
Just looking for 3 reds, 2 of them with colours, and that will see him safely home.
55. 62.
There you see it, so a red and a black to go 70 ahead, with only 67 remaining. Well,
John Higgins, 62.
well that red was more or less frame ball. Handed a lifeline to Mark Williams, so close.
Well, the only difficult red is the one on the side cushion, and he's left-handed. So maybe that may not be too unsurmountable problem. These are the kind of frames that could turn matches. Sadly out of touch at the moment, Mark Williams, and that's not his best positional shot.
8.
A slow roller to the middle coming up.
9.
Yes, but how many times have we been sat in our chairs and thought, well, we've lost that frame, getting ready to go to the mid-session interval. Your opponent misses, it's though you
16.
get up with no pressure on you. You think it's a bonus frame because you thought you'd lost it. And from
17.
John Higgins' point of view, I'm certain he thought he'd won it. So this is a big frame.
And what a bonus, John. Either 2 frames difference or 4.
23.
Interesting here to see whether he'll leave an angle on this black to be able to move that red off the cushion.
24.
He'll play the kiss if it's on, knowing that he's bound to be on the red in the middle of the table should he miss the canny. He wants to kiss it half ball on the right-hand side, and then he'll be on both. Yes, that's what he's played. A little bit harder, that's a good shot. Oh, key pot
31.
coming up. He'll take it on in the right-hand corner. If it goes in, I fancy him to clear up.
Yes, I agree. One good pot. One good pot was required.
Mark Williams,
and not
31.
got. So, if that had gone in, I agree with you, Willie, but he's left this red, and John Higgins now just needs this red and the black, and Mark will need a snooker.
Now Mark will feel really aggrieved at the interval. Had chances in now in every one of these 4 frames, and usually that young man only needs 1 chance a frame. He's had 2 chances in the first 3, and that one good chance there. It'll be John Higgins now that rests very nicely during his 15-minute interval.
Nine. $15.
Still looks relaxed, but must be a little annoyed.
17.
By the half chances he's let slip away. Remember, he beat John Higgins in last year's semi-final.
20.
It's not quite a mountain to climb yet, but it's certainly a very large hill.
24. 29. 35.
John Higgins started with a 62 in this frame. It wasn't enough. Mark Williams had a chance, but he missed the penultimate red with a clearance there for the beckoning. He's now going 4 frames behind at 12-8.
And 7 frames in a row now for John Higgins. One gets the feeling that this is a highly significant, if not decisive, passage of play. Off they went to the mid-session interval. Mark Williams with a lot of thinking to do.
Frame 21. Mark Williams to break.
Well, what a great opening red from John Higgins. As you see, he wasn't far off the port cushion. Look at that, clean as a whistle, nicely on the black.
Nine.
Terrific early scoring opportunity to build on that 4-frame lead.
$16. 17. 24. 25.
We've seen already in this tournament when this young man gets on a roll against Anthony Hamilton. He was 5-3 in front after the first session, won all 8 frames
32.
in the second session without hardly missing a ball. That's as good a session of snooker I think we've seen since Stephen Hendry and Ken Doherty a few years ago, where Hendry I think made 5
33.
centuries in 8 frames. This roll has come from 8-5 behind, winning 7 on the trot. And it has to be said, nothing like the form he showed against Anthony Hamilton, but he's starting to get on a roll now. He's been doing it in bits and pieces, these 7 frames, always needing at least 2 chances to win every frame. There were signs in the last frame he was starting to get on a roll.
39.
And those signs are continuing. May have been a little unlucky there, though. He'll have to play the plant. Or is there enough room for it to go by? Yes, just enough room.
40.
What a chance now.
48. $55.
Well, Mark Williams did nothing wrong. It was a good break-off shot. It just
56.
demonstrates that fine line between success and failure in this game of snooker. Oh, and they've broken nice. The cue ball drifted a little closer to the cushion than he would have
63.
liked. Red colour red is what's required.
$64.
So after this black, he just needs one more red, and Mark Williams, after that fairly decent break-off shot, will need a snooker.
Yes, and you've already mentioned to me in the commentary box off air that there is actually a rather
71.
large break available here. The high break of the tournament so far, break of 143 by Matthew Stevens. Well, it was 146 till he went
72.
up for the blue. Now, if he pots the blue, he can still beat the break by 1 with 5 reds and 5 blacks after this blue. Now, I wonder whether he's going to have a look at the scoreboard, do a little bit of mental arithmetic, and then notice the break is on.
77. $78.
There you see it, possible 144, £20,000 at stake. He's already been joint holder twice. And I'm certain he's aware now. I'm certain he's aware he's taken the pink and the blue. I don't think he'll be concentrating on anything but the black. The frame's safe.
86.
Just missed the cannon. Now, if it had flicked that red to the right of the
93.
pink, I'm certain he'll play for the black off this. Be amazed if he doesn't know the situation.
93.
Well, he didn't get the century or the highest break, but another frame on the board. Mark Williams in big trouble now. 13-8, John Higgins.
Yeah, certainly been John Higgins' morning so far. He's taken all 5 frames, and that really is a significant lead over Mark Williams. And you'll be able to see the 3 remaining frames in the session during Grandstand this afternoon on BBC One. Then, of course, we are back later this afternoon here on 2 at 5:20 with coverage of that other semi-final between Joe Swale and Matthew Stevens, 13-11 Stevens. For the moment from the Crucible, goodbye.
Will be staying on tomorrow and Bank Holiday Monday to play in this anniversary final of the Embassy Snooker World Championship. Very good evening. This is obviously backstage here at the Crucible. It's quite a way away from the glamour and the spotlight. She'll be joining in just a moment. It's what I call the engine room when the snooker's on, because this is the office of the tournament director, Gordon Regan, who's had a pretty busy time over the last 15 days. He's had 32 players to schedule and look after. It's going to get a bit easier for Gordon now, because as from tomorrow, just 2 to keep happy, the 2 finalists in this World Championship. There's the famous trophy, which has been locked in the safe throughout, and now it's back here, because as from tomorrow, it'll be taken out into the arena and will be put up on show just ahead of the table for the 2 finalists to glance at as they play and dream. Well, the 2 men playing tonight, a Scotsman and a Welshman, John Higgins and Mark Williams, they'll be hoping that for the next 2 days, they'll be glancing at that trophy and dreaming of winning it on tomorrow and Monday. 24 hours ago, it was looking bad for an unsettled John Higgins, the 98 champion. As he missed this pink, he rushed straight out onto the practice table. He won only 1 frame, and 4 of that session he'd gone 7-5 down, and he spent the whole of the 20 minutes on his own, working. Whatever he did, it worked. He won the last 3 to make it 8-all. His revival continued in the 3rd session. He won the first 5 to make it 8 in a row. Williams somehow rallied to win the next 2 to trail 13-10, but it was Higgins who finished the session on a high, a break of 137, to leave him needing just 3 frames for a place in his 2nd embassy final. There we have it, the champion of 2 years ago against last year's runner-up. Higgins 14, Williams 10. There's a possible 9 to play here tonight, and it's the first to 17 who goes into the 2-day final. Here's tonight's opener. It's frame 25. Nothing scored yet. This is John Higgins. Referee is Jan Verhaas. Opening frame. Very important, obviously. Clive Everton and Dennis Taylor are your commentators.
Of the choices available to him, red to left middle offers the least risk.
Well, I can't believe the whites dropped in the middle at that angle.
John Higgins 4.
He could try that shot 100 times, and the fact that there's a red up the table, that was just so unlucky and not the start that Mark wanted. And look at the chance that John Higgins is left with.
One. Four. Five. Eleven. Twelve. Seventeen. Eighteen. 23. $24.
Well, it doesn't matter how cool or how laid back you are, this will be very
30.
painful for the young Welshman.
$31.
He's picked off all the easy ones. Now he needs an angle when potting the red to enable himself to get into the bunch of reds by the pink.
$37.
The black is a bit on the straight side.
Yes, and so was the pink. So just well, he was trying to force an angle. He was almost straight. Now you can see almost straight, trying to pinch a little bit, but having looked at that, the white seemed to jump a little bit. Well, if this next shot comes off, perfect angle to cannon into the reds, and if he can open these up nicely, could get right back into this first frame of this session. Now, how's his luck? Could have been better. He can still get to the one
8.
to the left corner. But once again, he didn't have a lot of run there.
There's a real chance of winning clearance here.
$12. $13.
It's just the red to the left of the pink that
19.
will cause a slight problem.
20.
And in fact, he may be able to just cannon that out of the way, finish on the other two reds. Now he's opened them up nicely. They're all there now, but still a lot of pressure
26.
on Mark Williams here. In practice,
27.
this would be no problem. But this is a different situation altogether.
$34. $35.
To play as if it means nothing when it means everything. That's how Mark Williams has got to play these.
42.
The phrase is Steve Davis's.
43.
He's going to need the blue to make sure. It's been a cracking opening frame this evening.
$55.
The brown will put him 18 in front. There'll still be 18 there. And he's not hard
59.
enough. He's going to have to take it in the corner. He wanted to leave it in the middle pocket.
Higgins led 41-0. But Mr. Black trying to force an angle for position, and Williams cleared to the pink with 70. He reduces his arrears to 14-11.
Typical Williams finish, just to remind you, in the semi-final last year, and Williams won one of his own 3 meetings in 10. And he's back here in frame 26, and I can tell you he's leading. There it is, 4-0.
Maybe that time he'd have been better off with the safety. There's just too much pressure on that type of shot at this stage of a semi-final.
One. Eight. Nine.
Well, this will
16.
certainly open them up. And you'd think he'd be bound to finish on black or green. If he plays with a lot of bottom, the white will come back and finish on either of those colours.
17.
Green was easier, and it's also a good thing to get it out of the way,
20.
back onto its own spot.
$21.
And the big difference in this frame to the first frame was
28.
John Higgins ran out of reds to play for after 37.
29.
Just look at the way they're placed here. Might not be far enough this time
36.
for the red to hold for the black, so up for the blue.
37.
And that time didn't matter which side of the blue he finished. He has that other red there.
42. $43. $50. $51. $58.
This break arising from Williams's ambitious attempt at a long red.
Yes, John was so impressive in this morning's session. He had a couple of 60 breaks, he had a 93 and he had a 137.
$66. $67.
And now with this frame in the bag, a possibility of a century.
$74.
Played to cannon the red behind the pink.
Have to take the yellow this time. Can't get to the potting angle of the pink.
John Higgins, 75 and frame.
A 75 break, which restores John Higgins's 4-frame lead. He now leads by 15 frames to 11. He's only 2 from home.
He had two very tough matches to start with against Dave Harold, then the epic against Steve Davis, walls through against Anthony Hamilton, and here he's 18 points up in the next frame. It's number 27 of the possible 33.
It looks as if there could be a red on to the left corner.
One. Five.
It's turned out to be a very good chance now. He's got a bit of angle on the black to stun out for the one just above the black spot. And just looking at the 4 reds near the pink, he won't have to disturb them.
13.
As he gets on one, it will free another.
40.
These are delicate
21.
little shots.
$22.
When he pots this red, it will clear the path for the
29.
one to the left of the little triangle. I think it's available into the left corner, not quite sure. And if it
30.
is, when he pots that, it will open the other two up. And it must be.
36.
And there you see it.
$37. $44. $45. $52. 53.
Well, this has been a superb effort from Mark Williams. Under extreme pressure, and he's produced this.
68.
So Mark Williams again reduces his deficit to 3 frames. John Higgins, though, still leads by 15 frames to 12.
Now, these two great potters, but only 1 century apiece in the semi-final so far. Higgins had 12 in all. He's behind here in the next frame. 28, 114 down.
Now, the red to the middle is on. It might be better than the one to the corner from a positional point of view.
1.
And this will clear pink and black. This is turning into quite a good
7.
chance now for Mark Williams.
8.
Still 3 reds available to him. The only problem when potting the black, he's tying the black up, and that's the reason he's thinking about the yellow. He wants to get as many in front before he gets to the difficult reds, though. He's just looking to see if he pots the black, what the situation will be. Yeah, I think he's going to make his mind up and take the yellow. plan now will be the red, then the pink, and then
10.
take that red away from the black spot area.
11.
Well, if he's played for the black,
Yeah. 18.
well, I think the red that's to the left of the black may be possible, so it's not as congested as it looked.
Williams would have been on the red by the black, but for the kick.
19.
But it finished a little awkwardly in the end. It was simple enough to cannon the red into a potable position,
26.
but the trouble is that he's finished bridging over 2 balls, which is tricky.
Well, he's a left-hander, so that helps the situation, but he's a long way short, going to need the rest, so there'll be no attempt at a pot here. He still needs one more red.
I like this one.
I think he said, I like this one. Does that mean he's going to go for it? Well, I don't think there's anybody in the game would like that one. And it is very risky, although the 2 reds are safe. If he goes for the red and misses it, I'm not so sure if it's the right shot. I think unless the blacks come to his rescue,
Williams,
very fortunate.
33.
Well, he knew there was a chance of the black doing that, but still very risky.
It's a sort of situation where Mark could do with one of the colours safe, not the reds. If it's touching,
It's touching ball.
it is touching, so that's a bit of a mistake. John Higgins can find the right spot and cover that red. It's near the pocket. Mark would be in also, well, I was going to say he'd be snookered, but he won't be snookered, but he'd be in a lot of trouble. Mark will just play to get out of it. Although he's not snookered, he'll play to hit that red that's near the pocket off a couple of cushions. One will do. The red's potable though.
But Higgins in the last frame missed a black from under the cushion, the other side of the table. And a similar failure there. And the crowd realises that Williams has pulled another frame back. Match on.
Yes, his plan would have been 3-1 before the mid-session interval. He's going to achieve that.
9.
What's he doing here? He doesn't know what colour to play.
9 and frame.
Mark Williams came into this final session trailing 14-10, but has won 3 of the first 4 frames, and now trails only 15-13.
And compared to Higgins, Williams has had an easier ride to this semi-final. Big wins over John Reid, Drew Henry and Fergal O'Brien, but they don't come much harder than this one. And in the next frame, John Higgins is just 4 points adrift. Frame 29.
One good pot and
8.
out onto the black. And he would have a terrific chance.
9.
Well, this is looking pretty promising. Black open and available into both corners. Oh! Well.
John Higgins, 16.
Well, I can't remember ever seeing John Higgins do that. I'm sure he has, but very, very rarely.
Just seemed to scoop in it. That usually happens if all of a sudden a player grips the cue too tightly, which is sometimes a symptom of tension.
1.
So what looked like a great chance for Higgins is now a very good opportunity for Williams.
8.
If he takes the red into the left middle, he's got to stun past the pink, and that's not easy. And he's got to hit the other red when potting this one. And where's the white?
Nowhere near it.
Well, that was a terrible contact. And something on the blue there. Referee gave it a good clean. And he's going to have the white cleaned also.
40. 15.
Didn't play that as well as he intended. He's okay now with that kiss on the blue. Left-hander can reach this one.
25. 26. 33.
Well,
Mark Williams, 33.
the tension is really starting to bite now. Absolutely no reason for Williams to miss that.
Yes, he was up immediately. He knew he'd cued it poorly.
One.
But as you said, Clive, when you get to this stage in the semi-final and the players under extreme pressure, there's all sorts can start going wrong.
Five.
It's amazing. Even with
Higgins, 5.
two players with this experience right at the top of their game. It's the world number 1, and Mark Williams, after this Embassy Championship, will be world number 1. John Higgins will be relegated to number 2.
Eight. Nine.
The closer this match gets, the more it will be a test of sheer nerve.
16. 17.
Yes, the red just to the left of the little group of 3 is available, and he's almost straight on the blue, so he can bring this back in a straight line. He's just having a look to make sure that it is potable. So red, black, and another red would leave John Higgins at the snooker's required stage.
23.
So we've had missed pots and a miscue. This hasn't been a good frame for John Higgins.
30.
Well,
31.
look where the whites finished. What a dreadful kick that was.
That long blue gives him all the extra insurance he needs, though.
36.
Save those up for when you need them.
Exhibition time at the Crucible. He really is a character, this fella.
44.
I don't know where the red will finish here.
44.
Mark Williams has won 4 of the first 5 frames of the evening to put John Higgins under real pressure. Higgins now leads only by 15 frames to 14.
You just can't resist the showman stuff. That's 6 out of the last 8 for Williams. They're the top 2 players this season. Williams in 6 finals, having won 2. Higgins, the only man to have won 3 titles. This is a showdown.
Thank you. Frame 30. John Higgins to break.
First blunder in this frame.
Thank you. Not on the table.
It was a very tough pot. The red he took on was the only one he could leave, and he's left it.
One.
And what a chance for John Higgins. Can he compose himself here?
Six. Yeah. Seven. Forty. $50.
Has to go up for the blue this time. And really, there's only one red
23.
available. Got a bit of angle on the blue, but he'll have to come up for the single red. And needs a good angle now on the black when potting this red.
28. $29.
He doesn't want to hit the red right at the back. He could do with, if he hits that full ball, it could stick there. He wants to just miss that and hit the others to the right of it.
$36. $37. $44. $45.
Once again, it's finished a little awkward. He can't get on the black. That red near the blue's hampering him getting on that. It's not straightforward to get on the pink. Can he get through to the potting angle of the one to the middle? That would help. He could go up for the brown or yellow.
53.
Showing all his character here. Great match player, terrific under pressure.
$55.
Well, that just shows how much the tension is biting. Virtually straight red to the middle, point blank range. Only tension can explain him missing that.
Yes, and that wasn't quite as easy as John's miss, but if Mark had potted that, he could have got right back into this frame. Amazing. Fortunately, the red's gone safe on the other cushion, so he's got two reds, one on either cushion, that may prove very useful to him. So this could be a very tense finish to this frame.
8.
I'm just wondering where the pink goes. Mark will be hoping that it'll spot there and he can still get to the potting angle of the red. Yeah, he's fine.
15.
Plenty of room. An anxious John Higgins looks on. If he can drop this in, he could leave an angle on the black and then try and move the other difficult red. Hasn't got the angle to cannon that, but he's still got the other two.
$31. 34. 35.
Now then, has he got the angle to screw straight into the red? Or is he going to have to come up past the pink and back towards the red? It just depends. Well, I do believe he pled to leave a double, but
40.
I think he needed the white a bit further up. For that, it'll be a safety now. Well, he's taken the double on.
Mark Williams, 40.
Well, surely he would have cleared up had the red dropped, but the good news is that the red has hit the right jaw from Williams's point of view. He could so easily have hit the far jaw and left it possible for Higgins.
You know, I didn't even think he could see the potting angle of that red. What a shot that was he pulled out.
3. 5.
Well, Higgins can see the match being levelled here.
Well, we have seen some very unusual misses in this frame. And he's gone just a little bit too far. He's left-handed, so if he's straight, he should screw back and leave the pink. Well, he was okay. He just had enough angle.
17.
What a semi-final.
Only the pink needed.
Higgins 7, Mark Williams 23 in the frame.
Yes, the enough didn't matter. Higgins under pressure now as Mark Williams levels the match at 15 all.
And John Higgins now stuck on 15 for an hour. Williams has now joined him. Both need 2. There's only 3 left. This is some Saturday night in Sheffield.
Frame 31, Mark Williams to break.
Well, the tide is certainly running for Williams. And this is going to be a terrific test of Higgins' temperament. There's nothing worse than the feeling of having a match almost won in your mind and then feeling it slipping away. He's on fire.
Five. Ten. Eleven.
If he could get himself somewhere in the little circle on that red there, he could bring the black into play. And he's gone much further than he intended.
16.
He wanted an angle on that red to pot it and cannon the other one.
17.
Can he get onto the red next to the black? He'd have to be very precise again.
Ninety. 20. 25. 'Mark Williams, 25.
Mark Williams just asked Jan Verhaas, the referee, just have a quick look, because he can see enough of this red, the right side of the table. Can he see enough to have a go at the pot?
Well, in no way is Williams holding back. And just at the moment, Higgins just can't do it. He really is rocking.
You can get on the red next to the pink here. It's got a bit of angle.
Six. 7.
He really has turned this semi-final around. He was 13-8 behind at one stage. And to do this
13.
against a player of John Higgins's caliber is quite something special.
$18. $19. $25.
May not be on anything. But now that he got through to that one, he's in position to clinch the frame.
Well, when Alan Hughes introduces this player to the millions,
31.
he calls him the Welsh potting machine.
32.
And he pots them from everywhere at times.
$37.
So barring a snooker, Williams will go in front.
Does he realise he's playing in the Embassy World semi-final here, Clive, or does he think he's down in his
44.
local club? It's quite incredible.
Terrific. He's played with complete lack of inhibition.
51.
Potted that one under Jan Verhaas's arm.
I bet he doesn't
54.
pot this one.
Great stuff. Mark Williams takes the lead at 16-15.
And what a way to go ahead for the first time since yesterday afternoon.
John Higgins to break.
a fascinating frame this is going to be. Mark Williams knows now he only needs one to get through to the final. And the pressure switches to him. It's still John Higgins who's all at sea at the moment. He just can't get that cue arm working.
Yes, Williams has played so well and with such freedom, he's put the fear of losing into Higgins's mind.
Yes, I think he's frightened us all, Clive, with some of the snooker he's produced here.
8. 9.
It's a clever shot to get onto that red. It clears the black completely.
$22. 23.
This is going to be awkward. He's got a lot of balls
30.
to bridge over. He's going to need, well, he is a tall lad, and if he can reach that, it'll be a bonus, but I don't think he can quite get to that. In fact, he had both his feet off the floor there, but, well, as long as one toe's on the floor, you're okay. And Jan Verhaas, well, he had a bit of a job in his hands there. He was having to watch Mark Williams' toe, and he was having to watch him bridging over the reds.
Higgins was 4 frames in front at 15-11. He's now 1 down, 2 to play. And he will be pleased that Williams hasn't come through that little cluster to get proper black ball position.
Well, yes, a lot of players would just automatically play one of the balk colours and leave it safe. He's got a 39-point lead if he could knock the green onto the side cushion.
Mark Williams, 39.
John Higgins, what a task now. He's had a couple of terrific struggles here this year. 10-8 against Dave Harold in the last 32 and 13-11 against Steve Davis in the last 16. But he just can't find the potting angle at the moment. He's left it very difficult though with the cue ball on the cushion.
Almost went in off, and what a difference it would have made if he had. Williams would have had an easy starter from the D. No position can be obtained from this red.
Does that red pass the black? It's very tight. No, I think he'll just clear it away from the black. The blue's close.
Foul. John Higgins, 5.
He did get a good cue ball. It was close to the top cushion, but to knock the blue in, well, never dreamt that that would happen.
Well, Higgins puts Williams in again. Red goes to the left middle. Dangerous and risky, but who knows but what he mightn't try it.
Yes, it's as if John has thrown the gauntlet down to him. Well, Jenner's round of applause. Could John Higgins go out of this year's embassy, putting Mark Williams back in after a foul shot? That might be some sort of record, Clive.
7.
Well, Higgins thought the percentages were against him potting it, but maybe Williams doesn't understand percentages.
8.
Higgins could have played his last shot of this championship. Not on the one that he intended to be on.
Mark Williams, 12.
Well, it was a chance to clinch the match, but we've seen over the last couple of frames the balls that can be missed under these conditions.
I think if Williams had got on the red that he intended to, the top one, then it might well have been all over.
Well, he hasn't covered that one. It's a thin one.
One.
There's knocked the pink safe, the green safe. He's 47 in front, and he could have a snooker.
Mark Williams, one.
This must not go wrong.
Well, is he attempting a plant? Play it as a shot to nothing. The two reds may be near to that plant. And now a chance to put Mark Williams bang in trouble.
John Higgins, one.
There's no easy ball to come off a cushion and land on. That's going to leave a pot. John can get to the potting angle to take this one to the corner.
The initial red earned Higgins a chance
8.
to get back into this frame, which he needs to save the match.
9.
But there are obvious difficulties towards the later stages of a potential clearance.
Well, he missed a similar red to this earlier on. He didn't miss it this time.
$22. $23.
It's going to be so difficult to get from yellow to green.
28. $29.
He's got a bit of angle, so he can drop in behind it, but
34.
even if he does that, it's going to be a tough shot down the cushion.
$36.
He's on it as well as he possibly could be.
only problem with this, and Mark will know that as well, he's just off straight, and to get nicely on the brown, we'll have to force it, and he doesn't really want to do that. He wants to make sure the pot.
John Higgins, 36.
Well, Mark Williams put that green safe earlier, and how well it served him.
Might be able to develop the pink a little bit, but he's got to make sure and get the green safe.
Excellent judgment of pace.
What a shot that John Higgins is faced with here. It's almost a straight pot. Well, now that he's knocked the blue safe and there's only 10 the difference, what an exciting finish to this frame we're going to have. Mark needs green, brown and blue.
He's got it safe.
He's going to have to do the same again. He's asking the referee to have a look, so he's just bending it slightly. Yeah, good shot. Well, both these players have given us some fantastic entertainment here. Now, where's the black? Oh, dear. Now, that does make quite a big difference. He'll put John back in again. And now Mark won't need the difficult blue.
Time to have it.
Well, he had a lot of bad luck when he knocked the black in. It's his turn to have a bit of good fortune. It might be another little swerve around the blue. In fact, it's more than a little swerve this time. But I think the swerve's a safer option than going across the table.
Help.
Nicely judged. He's got it safe. Yes, it was immaculate length on the Higgins safety. It forced a mistake from Williams. But Higgins has it all to do to make a clearance here.
That's just pure tension in your back hand. Having to get right up the table for the brown. So one longish pot, and what a fight back this has been.
To leave Higgins needing 2 snookers.
Mark Williams, 7.
Well, it's not over yet.
Settle down, please.
24 the difference. If he pots the blue, he'll only need 1 snooker to tie.
Five.
It's over now, though.
What a fight back. John Higgins led 15-11, but with a winning streak of 6 frames, Mark Williams wins this epic semi-final by 17 frames to 15.
Epic, just about the right word. I think we do use superlatives, but that really was a tremendous match. And the bookmakers, I know, were flooded with bets that have come.
You'd still expect him to knock it in, but now the cue ball will be running around a little, and he's not forced to be on a colour. He might have to resort to the brown.